Good morning, everybody. This is Mikael from Healthwise Enterprise, the health food store that's located at 3807 East 8 Mile Road, about a block and a half west of Ryan. 3 blocks west of Ryan. We're between Ryan and DeQuinder, but some people say we're between Taco Bell and Long John Silver. We're there to service you Monday through Saturday from 10 to 7. You can call us directly at the store at 586-757-DIET. Again, that's 586-757-3438. Our old number still works, 313-366-DIET. And you can reach me on the cell at 313-600-8532. There's a lot of things to talk about, and so I'm going to run through them as quick as I can. And one, we got a new toothpaste powder, toothpaste coming. About 20 years ago, maybe longer than that, we was introduced to this powder called microhydrin. And people was using it for brushing their teeth. It was 10,000 times more potent than vitamin C. And then the company developed this here called Micro Bright. And people have been using it for years. And this one guy had did a study about his teeth, and it had grew his teeth back, his bones back. And people was excited about that, and we were using it. My requirements for toothpaste, if you can swallow it, that's one of the requirements, okay, besides being effective. How they make toothpaste and tell you on the bottle, do not swallow it, and you giving it to your kids, is very hard, if nearly impossible, to put something in your mouth and not some of that get into your body. So the Microbright worked great. People loved it. But then the company got bought out by some other company and they stopped making it. About 3 weeks ago, this lady called me and asked me for a product I'd never heard of before called Thiodent, Theodent. And I looked it up and was shocked how the scientists in New Orleans have figured out from cocoa they can make this toothpaste that actually grow your teeth, protects the teeth. And I should say grow your teeth may be a stretch, but puts the protective coating back on your teeth. And so I'm excited to get the product in. I usually don't say anything about a product until I've tried it for a month. But this one, just from the information on it, I was just blown away. And with the lady's testimony, she had tried it. And so I thank God for sending her to us. They're coming right on the time that the product we have been using for over 20-something years has been discontinued, but we got something to replace it. So it's scheduled to be at Healthwise. You said Tuesday, but I always add an extra day. That's one announcement. I have another announcement coming up this Sunday the 15th from 10 to 4. Is your annual Dearborn Women's Expo, okay? Just as you can stop by Healthwise and get additional information. But this expo is the Ford Community and Performance Arts Center, and is you bring this flyer, is you get $1 off. So you can stop by Healthwise, you can get $1 off. And that's at 15801 Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, 48126. This Woman Expo is going to have different speakers that talk about the power of communication, how to stay calm when you know you will be stressed, like a lot of folks are stressed out about this coronavirus. Fashion show, Soul Model Studio, and fashion show by Lane Bryant. So proceedings help the Children Leukemia Foundation of Michigan and the educational fund. So if you'd like to get more information about that, just stop at Healthwise at 3807. We can give you one of these flyers to talk about that. Now, this coronavirus. People constantly asking me about the coronavirus, and I was getting, first thing this morning, people said you can't touch the elevator button because there's might be a virus on the button. Okay, we're not Michael Jackson living in a bubble, but we can enhance our immune system, and we get the poisons out of our system. And I ran across this article from Dr. McCullough about 6 tips to help protect you against coronavirus. And one of them is simply washing your hands. Touching doorknobs, touching people, hugging, this, to me, that's one of God's gifts, is when we hug one another, is, you promote healing in the body. And the powers that be that controls the media, I call it television, you just have to be real careful. Because, see, the drug companies, and this was McCullough's article he had put out together, was talking about every year they come up with a new virus. And they got the news media, and they scare people to a panic. And then that forces the government to put them in the budget so they can get money to do research to find the cure for this new virus. And this year is no different. And you had to remember that the owners of the media have stock in drug companies. So they're not going to put anything out that's going to mess up that stock. But putting things up like the scare and fear factor increases their stock because people are going to buy more and more drugs. Okay. And it's funny, in December, January, February, now March, the scare, the new virus goes high. And then in the summertime, you don't hear anything about it. Well, that's one of the factors promote healing is the sun, okay? And in the sun, our bodies will make vitamin D3, which is one of the tips for protecting you against viruses is vitamin D3. Oprah, scientists suggest that people take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3. And her scientists found out nobody had any adverse side effects, because I think the level the government recommends is 400, okay? But I'm so happy to hear from several sources that doctors now are prescribing vitamin D3 at least 50,000 once a week. The only difference between us and them is we say 10,000 a day, which is 70,000. Either way, you can have your vitamin D tested, and you should be somewhere between 60s with milligrams per milliliter to 80. 40 is the minimum. But taking it 10,000, hopefully when you go get tested, you'll be right in there, or you can increase it. 50,000 a day, found out from the research, that's a toxic level. But even with that level, people wasn't having any adverse side effects. So 10,000, is one fifth of that, and seems to be a good level. I know from my own personal experiences, that's what I take is between 10 to 1,000 IUs of vitamin D per day. Another tip Dr. Makota recommends is vitamin C. We've had people taking 3 to 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day when they have a cold. Okay, and it helped run that virus out of their system. And so he said vitamin C has two major functions that help explain its potent health benefit. First, it acts as a powerful antioxidant, and it also acts as a cofactor for the enzymatic processes. Okay, and so that's just another tip to help fight off this virus. Boosting your immune system. One of the keys is your immune system. Some people call it your guts, and they are very important to keep your immune system up high as a prevention. So it's a whole lot easier to prevent a disease rather than get it and trying to get rid of it. By keeping your immune system up high is very important. As prevention, nutrition plays a critical role, and several nutrients are known for immune boosting properties and ability to ward off viral infections. These are several nutrients available in supplemental form that may be particular benefit against this coronaviruses. Tip number 4, which we already discussed, is the vitamin D3. Tip number 5 is the probiotics, which most Americans, they immune system in your guts is 80% harmful bacteria. Ideally, you want it to be 80% friendly bacteria. And one way of doing that is getting probiotics into your system. We have a product I didn't bring it. I meant to bring it, but it's in a yellow white bottle. We've been carrying it for, like I say, 20, 25 years. Each pill gives you 3.4 billion sources of probiotics. And the government, I've seen reports suggest you get 9 billion. We suggest you take, me personally, I take 4 a day, which gives you over 13 billion. And I like to take it about 20, 30 minutes after I take my silver water, okay? And it puts the friendly bacteria right into my guts. And the one also has prebiotics in it too. That is the food for the probiotics so that the probiotics can multiply like baby kids. It's known to enhance greatly enhances your immune system. And this last one, this little tip is called I didn't look up the correct pronunciation of this one, but it's Quercetin, okay? And it may offer benefits as treatment against SARS, S-A-R-S, coronavirus infections. It offers great promise as a potential supplement against clinical treatment of SCAR, and resveratrol, which is another super antioxidant, is another that could be useful. It has been shown to inhibit MAR virus infections, at least in the dish. So those are six tips, and you get in more of the details about it at the website. Um, the silver water, we as a species been using it for 5,000 years. I believe that's the reason people start saying born with a silver spoon in your mouth, because the rich who could eat with silver and eat off of silver plates, then they've noticed that they caught less diseases. Even the Chinese, I don't know, 3 or 4, maybe 5,000 years ago, I'm not sure, but they noticed that the rich that was using silver chopsticks got less diseases, okay? Because when you eat with the silver, some of the silver is going to get into your system, and silver has been known, because it's made by God, to kill pathogens, okay, which is the parasites, the fungus, the bacteria, the viruses, the mold, yeast. All those have one thing in common, is that they one cell, which is a foreign substance in your body. When you take the silver water, it sees that foreign substance and it kills it by paralyzing it. And after 21 days, it dies of starvation. And so when people, as Wayne was telling us, who developed the silver water, people could take 8 ounces a day, and it was getting great results. Even himself, he had got cancer. He was a shaman, a herbalist, and they gave him 2 years to live, and he lived over 42 years. And one of the factors, using this silver water. People have sprayed it in the eyes. I remember he used to telling us that all cold starts in the eyes. So he would have us blink real fast and spray the silver water right into our eyes. Me, myself, I used to wear glasses up from about 15 to 35, and I never liked them. And so I started doing eye exercises, and we've talked about that in the past. And it worked because my vision kept getting stronger and stronger. And with the pinhole glasses and eye exercises, looking close, looking far away, and the pinhole glasses, exercising your eyes, because like rest your organs in your body, every day they change, including your eyes. And when I started spraying my eyes, it escalated my vision, okay? It's where I could went from, because I could always read no matter how small the print is, but it was the distance. I think they call it nearsighted, farsighted, I forget whichever one. But when I started spraying, I noticed that my own vision started improving. And to this day, I still spray. And we've had people I'll never forget this lady. We had told her about my experience with the silver water and my own improvement of vision. And she had a cataract operation. And the vision was 75/20 in one eye, and I think 45/20 in the other eye. And they put this patch on her eye that she had to keep it on there for 2 months. And so during that time, she started spraying her other eye with silver water, consistently, regularly, 2 or 3 times a day. After 2 months, they took the patch off, and come to find out that both eyes were 25/20. So I said, wow. And she was impressed. So she didn't have to have the other operation on the other eye. And my own grandsons, he, 4 years old, he couldn't go outside, had this big backyard, live in Atlanta, and having breathing challenges. and I didn't know about it. And when I went down there for Christmas, and it's when I found out. I said, okay. So I sent his mama, my daughter, a 2-gallon jug, and I suggested, like Wayne told us, for the children, take 1 ounce every day, and you spray the eyes before they go to school, and spray the eyes when they come home from school. Now, 5 years later, he hasn't caught a cold, and neither has his brother. His whole life, he's 6 years old. He never caught a cold. Matter of fact, his birthday coming up on the 20th. He been Civil Water baby his whole life. Okay, both of them playing outdoors. Okay, in their backyard, playing baseball, soccer, all these activities outdoors, and no more breathing challenges. And it's just been amazing what the Civil Water has done. And everybody that's come to us that have had breathing challenges, they start taking Civil Water and they spray it up their nose. And it's like I say, it's just been amazing. And the results that people have gotten from using the Civil Water. So we people have had what Wayne told us, the whole Civil Water program is the Civil Water kills the existing causes of diseases based on what Wayne has said in his research. And the Civil Water enzymes deal with the future causes of diseases because it eats up the parasite's eggs. He used to call it these microscopic bugs, these pathogens. And the enzymes he developed that you take on an empty stomach, he had people taking 10 a day and on the empty stomach. And it was eating up the parasite's eggs before they get a chance to hatch and cause diseases. And he also put trace minerals in there. And we found out that your body take trace minerals and make its own enzymes which eat up the parasite's eggs before they get a chance to hatch and cause diseases. Well, we used to have our food grown on mineral-rich soil. We used to have wood ashes that we put over the garden, and that puts the minerals back into the soil, or cow manure and things like that to nourish the soil. Well, somewhere along the line they stopped doing it. I suspect after the Great Depression, the animals started getting all these different diseases. And even to the point where they're mating with each other, the male with the male, female with the female. And the farmer said, wait a minute, hold on, something ain't right. So they forced the government to do a 2-year study, document 264. Kind of found out that vitamins are useless unless you have the minerals. Dr. Wallach tell us that, him being a vet, that we need the vitamins to regulate the minerals. And if you don't have the minerals in the soil, it's not going to be in the food that we eat. And the vitamins we take are useless. So you have to have them both together. That's the way God planned. Is to, the major recycler is God. Is to putting the minerals back into the soil. So he developed this, well, not him, but the government, the scientists developed this ultimate classic, which is 19,000 milligrams of trace minerals and high doses of vitamins, much higher than what the government recommend. And it also has amino acids in it, which is the building blocks of proteins. And it knocked out and prevented over 900 different diseases for the animals. They say, wow, but won't we do that for humans? Well, humans got Blue Cross Blue Shield. So, wow, okay. I'm going to take Dr. Wallach's vitamins and minerals. And I come to find out that each 1 ounce serving gives you 600 milligrams. Per 1 ounce serving, there's over 19,000 per bottle. Now my body got your trace minerals to make the enzymes eat up the parasite's eggs that causes diseases. So it's in multiple ways of enhancing your immune system, protecting yourself. And we found out from the studies that food heals. And so some of the best food we all know innately is fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nuts, seed. Okay. You got your grasses from the land, grasses from the sea. You got your omegas from seeds. You got your omegas from fish, which is essential that we get those in every day. So Wayne developed this product called Stabilized Greens. It has its life force still intact in it, even though it's in a powder form. And he was telling us that most companies have a 2-year shelf life for their green powders, and the way they're able to establish that is they kill the life force. But it have a 2-year shelf life, and then it still has some health benefits. And the other way they're able to stabilize the 2-year shelf life is they put chemicals in it, and they don't put them on the label. Some way they put it in the process before the process go put into the bottle. Some kind of way they sneak it in, he used to tell us. So the product have a 2-year shelf life. He developed a third way of stabilizing the greens, but it only has a 11-month peak shelf life. After that, it's still good, it's just not as strong. And lo and behold, we had a relatives of a friend of mine whose sister, her cousin, one had tumors, one had cysts. They found out they had these different diseases, and they took the silver water 8 ounces of that a day. They took the enzymes 10 of those a day. But when it came to the greens, Wayne had told folks for years to take 2 tablespoons twice a day. These sisters took the stabilized greens every time McDonald's commercial came on. So we estimate that to be about 4 to 8 tablespoons a day. In 1 month, this one who had the tumor, it was gone, and the one who had the cyst, it was gone. I relate that to God, because food heals. Who made the food? God. We just have to grow our food on mineral-rich soils, because Dr. Wilder said plants can almost pull vitamins out the air, but the minerals got to be in the soil. Once we do that, then we get great results. He looked at the folks in Titicaca. They have access to abundance of minerals in their water. And I think in some places in the Himalayas too. The water is loaded with these trace minerals. The water is so loaded with trace minerals, the water look like milk. But they water their crops with this. They drink it. In the end results, the average lifespan is 120, 140. That's the average lifespan. And so when they 60, 70, 80s, they look like 40 because they get all the trace minerals into their system on a daily basis their whole life. It's remarkable. But you have to remember in the Bible, if you look at some of the old folks in the Bible, you're going to run across Methuselah and Adam. They was 900 years old plus. And I looked it up and I saw about 12 people in there that was over 400 years old. If you're going to believe part of the Bible, why not believe that part? It sends a whole different signal to your whole body. Because 100 years ago, the average lifespan, from what I heard, was like 45. Now we're at, 65, 75, 85. Who's to say that 100 years from now we're going to be at 95 or 100, 110? So you can wait to they change things around, or you can do what the people that's living that age now and climb up and down mountains like their kids at 60, 70, 80, etc., 90, still having children and things like that. It's remarkable because remember Dr. Sabi, his wife said he got 100 kids around the world. He's in 80s and was still making babies. Now, he used herbs from the sea, like sea moss. And it's been reported that sea moss got 92 trace minerals in it. Well, it come from the sea. And you got, the sea is not as bad as the land. It still got the circulation of the nourishments going through the sea. And you got sea moss, which is another food source of trace minerals. So you got the stabilized greens, which get its nourishments from the land vegetables and the sea vegetables. You got sea moss, which is another food, which is loaded with trace minerals. It's key to help fight off diseases based on all the research that these guys have done. I'm testifying myself because those are the things I take on a daily basis. Not to be trying to impress you, but to impress upon you that God is not forsaking us. He put these nutrients down here, and like the guy who developed the sexual product called Confidence, he was taking Viagra, Cialis, he was in his late 70s, had high blood pressure, sugar diabetes, and he sat down with God and said, it's got to be something on this planet that's natural like Viagra, but out to harmful side effects, because he was having terrific headaches and other complications. And after 2 years of research, talking to shaman and herbalists over here in America, in the Orient, he developed this product called Confidence. This is how we do things. We be in tune with God. Even with this virus, and when you hear news, okay, go ask God, is they telling the truth or are they trying to promote sales? Who wants to be scared to push an elevator button or to touch a doorknob or to hug somebody? Okay, that's straight up divide and conquer. God's plan work. They teach in medical school that prayers work. People have prayed diseases out of themselves, and people have prayed diseases out of other people. I've seen it with friends. A friend of mine, their husband was real sick, giving them days to live, and she developed a prayer circle. We all got together in a circle, put him in the middle, and prayed. When he wasn't there, we developed a prayer circle, and we would pray. And then we designed to pray for him at a certain time every day. So we'd be in our own houses and say at noon, all of us is sending a 2 or 3 minute prayer, the energy, healing powers from where we at to promote healing in his body. They said 10 minutes of prayers every day extends your life, I think, a year. My mom used to pray an hour a day and was conscious even at 85. So these are just some of the tools, which is what God has given us, is mind, body, and spirit, that promote the healing in our body. So we have enough to fight off this virus and the one they're going to come up with next year, like we did last year and the year before that and the year before that. So I would say live in faith, because when you live in fear, that promotes diseases. When you live in faith, that promotes health. God put this system in there. They just discovered in '95. It's called the endocrinoidal system. The fuel that feeds that system, first of all, that's the master system in our body. That controls all the other systems. And only 13% of the medical schools in this country teach anything about the endocrinoidal system. That's equivalent to going to medical school and they don't teach you about your circulatory system. The endocrinoidal system is the master system. It's like the conductor of the orchestra. And the fuel that feeds the endocrinoidal system is hugging, is laughing, is smiling, and the hemp oil, the hemp foods, the hemp plants, the hemp powder. It feeds the endocrinoidal system so it can operate at a more efficient, powerful level. God is not forsaking us. Just laughing. I remember Tony Robinson told us about this lady who had got breast cancer, and she heard about laugh therapy. And so she took it to the hill. Her and her husband got some VCRs, because that's what they had back in '85. And for 90 days, they didn't listen to the constant negative news. Some people call that CNN. And they just listened to videos. Anybody negative, they didn't answer their phone calls, wouldn't answer the door or anything. And for 90 days, they just laugh. When she went back 90 days later to have her breast examined, they couldn't find a trace of cancer in her body. You can't tell me God ain't powerful, can promote the healing in our body just from laughing. Come on now. That feeds the endocrinoidal system. That was back in '85, before they didn't find out anything about the endocrinoidal systems in '95. So we had the most powerful energy in the whole universe at our fingertips. It's called God, or the universe, or Allah, Ra, whatever name you want to call God. We all got several nicknames, and God got a bunch of names too. Believe me, he responded to every one. And that's one of the most strongest, most powerful energies we have to fight off all kind of diseases. So we always encourage people to do what we call the mind, body, and spirit. We have the products from the testimonies and other people. They say it worked. We have the information that we have gotten continuously doing the research. My wife was saying, well, you've been studying for 50-some years, Mikhail. You can understand when you see Bull Mass and other folks, and a lot of folks get confused when they see all this stuff because they haven't studied as long as you have. I said, well, okay. But you got to start somewhere, And reading is fundamental. Reading, to me, the knowledge is power. And there's a lot of folks like Dick Gregory and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Mary Bethune, Harriet Tubman. All of these folks use the spirit to achieve the impossible. Thurgood Marshall. I seen a documentation on him. This guy, educated brother, went down south knowing it could kill him and lynch him any time. Matter of fact, they threatened his life 4 times. And he was fearless. Or he was faithed up. He was God up. And one time, a lot of folks wouldn't even go down south, let alone go down there and get threatened with your life, and you mysteriously get out of it. And go down there 4 times again, went down a bunch of times, but 4 times his life was threatened. He was fearless. Martin Luther King said, if you don't have something to die for, your life is useless. It's a mission. It's a calling. It's so exciting to live with God. Remember, we're more spiritual than we are physical. We're spiritual beings before we get this meat suit. We're spiritual beings with the meat suit. And it's going to be spiritual beings after we get through with the meat suit. Loving your enemy, I could never understand that when I was a kid. But when I've learned is that it's the loving energy that goes through you that you send love to your enemy. Remember, everybody is made by God. Now, they've been brainwashed and conditioned, to be divided and conquer, or think they're superior, etc. That's on them. The loving energy that goes through you, love is the most powerful energy on the planet, and it promotes healing in the body. It's like laughter promotes healing in the body. Hugging promotes healing in the body. These are things that we do as, well, we got this meat suit, this body, where we can be in a creative state. Just think 100 years ago, in the accomplishments we have made as a species in the 100 years has been phenomenal. There's nobody brought any new items from outer space. This is what God has put on this planet we discovered that promote healing. Like we was talking about, this cocoa. And this guy developed a way to help your teeth, put the enamel and the protection back on your teeth. It's phenomenal. So, anyway, I went a little bit longer than I had planned on talking about this coronavirus, but I, like I say, I hear it every day. So, just wanted to share that with you. Okay. I had pulled up this article about brain exercise, 12 simple ways to stimulate your mind and your memory. I didn't get too much into that, but just briefly, dancing up a storm, exercise, swimming, volleyball, basketball, walking, at least 90 minutes a week, 3 30-minute exercise of brisk walking, where you're walking with your lower body as fast as you can and you're swinging your arms with the upper body. You can always enhance that by adding weights to your legs and to your hands, to your body, sweatsuits and things like that. And to be ideal, is one of the gifts we have living in this area is Bella, with all those trees putting out this healing energy. When we walk around Bella, when the water hit the shores, it producing this energy that's healing. I think it's called negative ions. So walk around Bella is a healing island that we could take advantage of by walking, biking, running, skip, hopping, jumping in Bella. Taking somebody out there in a wheelchair and wheel them around Bella, or part of it. Breathing in all this negative ions that the trees are putting out. And what we put out, carbon monoxide, they breathing in. So it's a win-win situation for the trees and for us. When the water hits the shore, produce these negative ions. Walking, dancing on Bella, okay? It's a great way to exercise your brain. Okay, say dancing. The next one is saying being active. Driving at different routes. My wife says, you act like somebody been after you because I take all these little shortcuts. I learned the shortcuts because I'm going different ways to get to the same destination. Just to keep my eyes alert and sharp so they don't get like, well, I know how this gonna act. No. And I'm always watching all around me, front, back, sides, up, whatever. Because a lot of folks drive just what they say, offensively. I choose to drive defensively. Because the way they make the cars nowadays, you touch a car, it costs you $1,000 because dents and all that kind of things. Because they make the cars out of plastic. But taking a different route, it boosts your brain's health. It may take you 5 minutes extra, 10 minutes extra. The key thing is keeping your brain sharp. Deal with a jigsaw puzzle. 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. I mean, we used to give that to our children, 12-piece jigsaw puzzles. Okay, to stimulate their brain. It still works to this day. Using crossword puzzles. I read a lot of articles and have a lot of scientific words, but they on the website. You can put in the word and put in how to pronounce it, put in the word and give you a definition for it. And some places they even pronounce it for you. But it's learning new words, stimulates the brain. Practicing mindfulness meditation. I was sharing with a sister the other day, one of the things that I do is meditate, which is spending time with God, listening. We talked about how powerful praying is, talking to God. We got one mouth, but we got two ears. And spending time in meditation, doing the deep breathing exercise. I never forget, during the summertime, I went out to Belle Isle where the children were playing. And I was doing this deep breathing exercise where you breathe in slowly through your nose and count to 7 to 8 seconds. Then take a deep breath, another sip, and then breathe out slowly, count to 7 to 8 seconds. And I'm counting, but I'm listening in the background to these children just laughing. And I did this for 20 minutes, but out of that 20 minutes, I must have had at least 5 or 6 minutes where I was totally out of my body. Bliss, being with God. Nothing like it. Reading books. It was funny that when we were kids, read books and say, if you run across a word you don't understand, just skip over it. You keep on reading, you'll get the contents. But lately, I've been stopping, looking up that word, and come to find out it get a total different meaning than just reading and skipping over it. Reading is fundamental. Learning a foreign language. We have a lot of Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, speak Spanish, etc. It's more of them than it is black folks in this country. And you in this particular part of the country, you got a lot of Arabs. In learning these languages is now easier with the internet, but it stimulates the brain and keep it sharp. Taking up a craft, knitting, quilting, is decorating, cooking like my wife loves to do. And she just gets in a zone like a Kobe Bryant would get 82 points. Get into the zone where you can't miss a shot. And the last one here is playing 3D video games. Now that's a new one. But anyway, it keeps the brain functioning. It's like the Pac-Man and hitting that button and coordination and all of that. So those is quick. Shake up your routine kind of went into that, and like brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, and and then trying the new topic that works for you. There are many different benefits in Nook topic. It's a boost mental acuity or sharpness. That includes boosting your cognitive and thinking skills, memory, focusing, and more. Spending time researching options, and then once you decide on one, it's a formula with multiple herbs for your brain, like Ascaranda. Man, that is a real popular product right now. It's an herb that God made, excellent for the brain. So you got you a whole smorgasbord of information here. You can give us a call at 586-757-DIET or 313-366-DIET. Come visit us. We still give you a hug, shake your hand, if you want. Remember, 5 hugs a day is healing at 3807 East 8 Mile. Thanks for all your support and the encouragement. And so you encourage me, I'm encouraging you. As God encourages us all to be all we can be. And we got what it takes. We really do. God is not only not forsaken us, he has empowered us with this healing power versus, and we tap into that in meditation. You'll see. Peace and love, y'all.